Hello everyone, my name is Creepy and welcome to the Draft League Q&A episode 9. I'm here today with William, the random number generator lord.
Yo, what's up, guys? Will the RNG Lord here.
Okay, so tell us about yourself a little bit.
I've been in the draft league format for about 2 years now. I've been in a lot of major leagues or semi-major leagues. I've been in the CPC, the Continental Pokemon Championship, the UBC, the United Battlers Championship, and several other leagues. But those are the ones I'm most known for.
Okay, so how and when did you start to play the Draft League format?
Like I just said, I've been in the format for about 2 years now. I was invited by Volume, the founder of the CPC, the original founder, and he invited me. He's like on the Pokemon Showdown lobby. He asked, "Hey, does anyone want to join like a draft league?" And I'm like, I've been watching the GBA since season one, and so I'm like, yeah, that sounds like fun. I love the GBA, so I definitely wanted to join something to be a part of it, kind of. Um, yeah.
Okay, so I never asked you and I really want to know, how did you join the ABT?
The EVT. All right, so um, first of all, I was invited by Troy um to join the EBT, but they were full. That was in season two. And Fralls and I didn't have the best relationship because one of Fralls' leagues ended because of me back then. Because I made three guys rage quit because I hacked them to death. And so Fralls didn't really like me. And so Fralls kicked me from that server. And then a season later, Fralls got invited to the CPC off season, and then he's like, "Oh yeah, well, I'm sorry for all the hate. I'll invite you to the EBT because I know you wanted in." So that's how I got into EBT season 3, and Fralls put me in the Melee division, which,
Yeah, we all know.
yeah. Those were dark times. That is the only league that I did not win a single game in.
Okay, for the guys who don't know, we'll finish like 0 and 9.
I finished 0 and 6 technically, and then just forfeit the rest of my games.
Yeah, 0 and 9.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's just fi- finish the topic to another. Okay, more happy topic. So, what are your accomplishments in the draft league format?
I've made semifinals in several leagues. CPC season 2. I mm, I've beaten several good players from the MPL, such as Mr. Murkrow, Trev CL. I've beaten Top Tier Boy, all coaches in the National Pokeball League. Other than that, I've had I've had successful seasons, getting to semifinals in a lot of different leagues, but like the DNL, for instance, that was a league owned by Fancyfi, and I made playoffs in both of the seasons that I finished. And yeah,
Okay,
um, before Sun and Moon, there was only one league I had ever missed playoffs in, and that was CPC season 3.
okay. So, what was your best season in any league or tournament you've been in?
My best season was probably in a league hosted by Lavina May called the Swords of Justice Battle League. and there my record was 9-1, and my one loss was because I got crit, and that one loss was in the semifinals.
Ooh.
So yeah, um, but I loved my team in the SPL. It was like the most unique draft I've ever had, and I've been trying to replicate that draft so much because I loved it.
Okay. So the next question is, what was your best draft ever?
The SPL, we're going back to that. Of course, my EBT season 4 draft was pretty
Yeah.
sweet, but
It,
we're
it,
going back to the SPL one because that was like the most amazing draft I've ever had. It was in Gen 6, so things like Tapu Koko and whatnot, things that kind of warped the format, they didn't exist yet. My draft consisted of Excadrill, Clefable, Mega Charizard X, Tornadus Therian, Terrakion, Amoonguss, Slowbro, Electros, Miltank, and then I believe there was something else, but I can't really or no, not Miltank, Audino because I in Mienshao because I had so many regenerator mons with those Excadrill and Clefable. My draft was amazing.
it sounds like such a good draft. The ABT
Yeah.
season 4 one is the one I know you are very hyped of.
That one, like, sure, Magirna and Landorus Therian's nothing to scoff at,
And
but
Ladias and
the SPL, the SPL one, that was like the first one that I had an amazing record with in the league, and that that was probably the best team I've ever drafted. Like every mon, even Audino and Mienshao being my lower tier mons, every mon played their role perfectly. I love that team.
Okay. So when you start a new league, how do you plan your draft? What are the most important parts in a good draft?
So the most important things, first of all, you have to prioritize synergy. Like you have to prioritize what works well with what. First, you take a mon you want to build around, and then you look, how can I make this mon work? So let's say Mega Charizard X is something I like to build around a lot. So in order to make Mega Charizard X work, you need some things that check its weaknesses. One of Charizard X's biggest flaws is the weakness to Stealth Rock, so you need the right removal, you need the right type combinations. I always try to get an early Fairy Steel Dragon Core, and a lot of times I end up with a fire type as my mega, and with that I tend to make like a fire water grass core. I always take Regenerator Mons if they are available because Regenerator is a really good ability. And in the Draft League format, if you have Regenerator, you get a lot of initiative on your opponent.
Okay.
But other than that, hazard removal is important. I don't really plan my drafts. I just see what's available by the time it gets to me and pick from there.
Okay. So, what is the most underrated Pokemon in Draft League format in your opinion?
The most underrated. Uh, this is tough. My heart tells me to say Dunsparce, but okay, I'll just talk about Dunsparce for a minute. Okay, so Dunsparce is my favorite Pokemon, for those of you who don't know. So Dunsparce gets a lot of hatred. People just don't regard it as a threat. Gen 7 with the introduction of Z moves, Dunsparce got a whole lot better. Okay, so this was like in the first league I was ever in, right? So my opponent had a Steel type, a Magneton, and Dunsparce got Earthquake. He switches the Magneton in on an Earthquake. And so, yeah, I just think Dunsparce is a lot better than people give it credit for. So I'm gonna go with Dunsparce as the most underrated mon.
This is like we know we have another Dunsparce lover in the ABT with Hammer. And
Yeah, but he's not as passionate as with Dunsparce as I am. I
yeah,
can just tell you that right now.
yeah, and we said it. We said who is better, Sphere or Dunsparce, and then I went like, okay, Sphere is Dunsparce, no Jones. I got the best hacks. Like
But then you lost against my Dunsparce because I'm the better Dunsparce user.
yeah. I remember in the season 4 of the ABT, you played against. It was your third game.
Against Josh, yeah, I brought Dunsparce. It got 2 kills, but then I got crit.
And then Hammer said you're the worst Dunsparce user.
Yeah, and then where Versus and Hammer were arguing, and Versus saying Dusknoir was better than Dunsparce. Versus beat Hammer with the Dusknoir, and then I beat Versus with Dunsparce. I'm definitely the best Dunsparce user.
Okay, so what is the most overrated Pokemon in a Draft League format?
Most overrated is very. I mean. My apologies, I've been sick lately. There are many mons that I feel get more credit than they deserve, and one of those mons is probably Victini. Now, the reason why I say Victini is because Victini doesn't really do much. Okay, sure, it gets a kill when you need it to, but then it just dies to like a pursuit. Victini's really like fire types are very important in Draft League, don't get me wrong. It's just Victini is one of those mons. It gets in, it gets a kill, and then dies to pursuit. That's why I kind of think it's the most overrated mon. I mean, there are a lot of mons you could consider overrated, but I think that one just kind of stands out to me.
Yeah, about Victini, you are the first one person to say it. Most of the people says Manaphy.
I mean, there are different arguments for Manaphy. Victini's more versatile than Manaphy is.
Like
One or two really good sets, and that's it. But Victini just dies to pursuit on anything, and that's the reason I say it.
I feel like Pursuit is not that common of a move.
It is when you're prepping against a Victini. If you have something with pursuit,
You're bringing it.
you're bringing it.
Oh, what is the most like Weavile gets it. A lot of Mike gets it.
Tyranitar,
Tyranitar.
Sneasel, a lot of different dark types get it.
Yeah, but it's not like Ice Beam, but everyone gets it.
Yeah. I'm just saying, if you have a pursuit user on your team against Victini, you gotta bring pursuit. That's just because Victini is a threat, but it dies to pursuit on almost anything.
Okay. So, what is the most competitive league you've been in?
The most competitive league I've been in was the CP Season 3. We had great competition. We had people like Iron Flash Gaming, we had Gypsy King, we had Matty Brolic, we had Chimpact. That league was very, very competitive. And a close second would be the UBC this season, where we have coaches like Tom from GDA, the San Jose Sharpedos, Tom Z, 1227, I believe, are the numbers. And then we have people like Trev CL from the MPL. Then we have Rizal. We have a lot of different coaches in the UBC that I'm excited to play against this season.
I know you are in this league called the BBC.
Yeah, that wasn't the most competitive league ever because of
Hello.
draft league players. But yeah, it was cool because I got to play against people like Zamrock and NJMP. NJMP's like the best OU player in the world, but he's not really a draft league player. But it was fun to play against guys like them because you learn a lot more about how they play, their playing style, how it's different from those of the draft league community. It was cool.
Okay. So, what is your proudest game apart from 6 and ZDH?
The best player in draft league, in my opinion.
No. What is your proudest game?
Oh, my proudest game. That is probably my most recent one, which actually will be going up this Friday. Against Trev CL. That game. Okay, I will go ahead and spoil it, but in that game, I was a little far behind, and Trev is a great player. He's in the National Pokeball League. He's a very, very good player, and I kind of pulled it back. So no one expected me to win from the position I was winning it, or from the position I was in. And I ended up pulling it back and got a really close 1-0 victory.
Oof. Okay. So, what is your proudest accomplishment? Record, draft, one game.
Um, my proudest accomplishment was probably in the um, in the WCP. This was the second league I was ever in. So basically, what happened was I was really upset because I had to play against Toby round one, which Toby's not really in draft league anymore, but Toby was this guy. He got on my nerves a lot, and Toby is the kind of guy who doesn't have the money to back up his mouth. Let's just say it like that. So Toby was like really just shit talking the whole league. And come playoffs, I asked PokeAim to help me team build, and he did. I just asked him because I friended him on Skype, and he's like, "Sure, I'll help you team build." And I ended up 6-0ing Toby in playoffs, and that made me really happy. But then in the semifinals, I played against Iron Flash Gaming, and everything went downhill from there.
Okay. So, who is the best player you ever fought?
Iron Flash Gaming, no doubt. That guy, he always it's it's never even close. Like no matter how good I play, how hard I try, I could just never beat him. He was my biggest rivalry, or he was my biggest rival when he was there. He's retired now, but he was definitely not just my greatest rival, but also one of my best friends in the community.
Okay. So, who is the best player you ever beat?
I've ever beaten. Um, Probably either top tier boy or Trev C. Both of them are very good. Trev won the National Pokeball League twice, so I'd say that's probably the better one to say here because, like I said, I just recently beat Trev, and Trev's won the MPL 2 times. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Trev CL.
Okay, so who is the best player in the draft league format in your opinion?
The best player in the draft league format, there's three titans of the format. Let's say it like that. These are the
Maddie
three
Brawler
that
team.
everyone will say are the top three, and those are Iron Flash Gaming, Matty Brawlick, and
And
Gypsy
A
King.
Drive. What?
No, no. We do not go there. So I'll just talk about each one of these guys. They're all on a close level with each other, but I'd have to say Iron Flash Gaming is the best of the three, but he's retired now, so currently the best would be Gypsy King or Matty Brawlick,
A
which
Drive.
I believe Gypsy is just slightly above Matty in skill level, but there are also some honorable mentions like TTM Jolt and Togavor, um, because of the way they build and just the way they think through their matches. But just going back to Iron Flash Gaming, the way he team builds, the way he plans his drafts, just the way in general, he spent 10 hours a day prepping for his league matches. He's just someone you really have to look up to because he's just an amazing player in general. He's overall he's just a great guy. There's nothing really more I can say. Iron Flash Gaming was he retired the best, and he's passed the throne down to Gypsy King.
Okay, I know people not always count as him because he's not in the NPL, but under the radar, such a good player.
Yeah, I've played against Under the Radar before. He's a good player. Yeah. I remember my first March Madness tournament. I was put into a group with Under the Radar, Matty Brawlick, Chimpact, and Melantosh from the GPC. In the second March Madness tournament, or like not the second March Madness tournament, but in the Summer Showdown tournament, all of them were all stars.
Okay.
Everyone in my group was an all star in the next tournament, besides me.
Okay, so last question. Do you have any tips for a new draft league player?
Any tips? Just draft a mon you want to build around and just have fun with it. Draft League's probably the most fun way to play Pokemon. It's definitely a great way to use mons you usually will never see used in the metagame.
That's
And yeah, just have fun with it because that's really the best advice I can give you. I love Draft League format.
We all love you. Okay, so check out Will's channel down below. If you
I like
this
weed.
video- I like you so much. Okay, so if you like the video, make sure you like. If you want to see more videos like it, make sure you subscribe. Thanks for watching. This has been Scrapey and I'm out. Goodbye.